Welcome to the light. Today we're shedding light on a case out of Florida where a Florida firefighter who's a lieutenant there and his wife are accused of locking their adopted 12-year-old child in a room for years where she slept on an air mattress, had no access to a bathroom, according to authorities. Now they are each charged with one count of child abuse without great bodily harm, according to their jail records. And during their bond hearing in court Wednesday, a defense attorney described the couple as devout Christians and disputed some of the chilling details of their affidavit, according to the media. They said that some of this could be justified by religion. I have the full 7-page probable cause affidavit with all of the details that the 12-year-old child gave. So we're going to dive straight into that. Just a disclosure, of course, we are about to dive into details of child abuse. So if this is not for you, please scroll away. Let's get into it. On February 11th, 2026, at an address located within the jurisdictional limits of the city of Coral Springs, Broward County, Florida, the above-named defendant did knowingly and willfully commit acts of child abuse without causing great bodily harm. Specifically, the defendant subjected the 12-year-old adopted child to ongoing mental and physical abuse over a period of approximately 3 years. During the course of my investigation, the following probable cause and factual evidence was gathered. On February 11th, 2026, a Department of Children and Families investigator responded to the victim's school, located within the city of Coral Springs, and met with the school resource officer regarding allegations that the child was locked in her bedroom at night due to claims that she wandered the house and took items from family members. The intake further indicated that during this period, the girl did not have access to a bathroom, resulting in her urinating on the floor and being forced to clean it in the following morning. The intake also noted that the girl was required to write Bible verses as a form of punishment. On February 11th, 2026 and February 2026, 2 interviews were conducted with the girl. During these interviews, the girl disclosed that for approximately 2 to 3 years, she had been locked in her bedroom overnight and at times during the day. She stated that while confined overnight, she urinates on herself and at times defecates on herself due to lack of access to a bathroom. The girl reported that in the morning, she is required to bathe outside in the backyard while wearing a bathing suit, despite inadequate weather conditions. The girl further advised that her bedroom door is secured with a lock from the outside and that her window is also restricted, leaving no means of escape. She stated that she sleeps on an air mattress, has minimal furniture, and has no toys or personal items in her room. She reported that a sound machine is kept at a high volume in her room to prevent her from hearing others in the home. The girl advised that she is only allowed approximately 3 outfits at a time, which are kept in her room, and that any other additional clothing or money she receives is taken by the co-defendant, Jennifer. The girl described inhumane living conditions. She reported that she was forced to use her clothing to clean urine and feces using vinegar and bleach. After cleaning, she's required to wash the same clothing outside in a small bucket and then dry it in her room. The girl further stated that she is subsequently required to wear the same clothing. Clothing collected from the victim's residence showed stains consistent with the victim's statement. Upon the girl's removal, she was outfitted in size 2T underwear, which is standard sizing for a toddler. The girl stated that she brushes her teeth in her room and is required to swallow the toothpaste, as she is limited to no access to the bathroom located nearby. The girl disclosed that within the week prior to law enforcement involvement, Jennifer pulled her hair, slapped her, causing her lip to bleed, and kicked her while she was on the ground. The girl further reported being called derogatory names, including, quote, little pisser and, quote, shitter, and being told she is bipolar like her biological mother. The girl stated that Jennifer provided her with distressing information regarding her biological parents, including details of substance abuse and death, which she believed was done intentionally to upset her. The girl advised that despite being subjected to these conditions for years, her behavior has worsened, including increased incidents of defecation on herself. She also reported that she is treated differently from the other 6 children in the household who are not subjected to similar conditions of discipline. The girl further stated that she has been required to tread water in the pool for extended periods, sometimes up to approximately 45 minutes, as a form of punishment. I interviewed all 6 other children residing in the home who are the biological children of Joel and Jennifer. These children confirmed that the girl is locked in her room overnight, urinates and defecates on herself, and is required to bathe outside and wash her clothing. All siblings advised that they are not subjected to that type of punishment. They reported that the girl spends the majority of her time isolated in her room, writing proverbs, and is rarely allowed to participate in normal family activities, such as eating meals or playing with siblings. I observed the bedrooms of the other children, which were clean, properly furnished, and contained toys and personal items. In contrast, the girl's room lacked decoration, contained minimal furnishings, and had a noticeable odor consistent with urine. The closet in the girl's room was being used for storage of household items, including paint. Jennifer agreed to speak with me and was advised of the DCF allegations. Jennifer admitted to locking the girl in her room overnight and acknowledged that the girl had been urinating and defecating on herself for approximately 2 to 3 years. Jennifer confirmed that the girl is required to write proverbs as punishment and that she is required to bathe and wash her clothing outside with limited access to indoor facilities. Jennifer acknowledged that these practices were unusual. Jennifer also stated that the victim would not thrive in her care and is willing to turn her back over to the state of Florida, although Jennifer and Joel has been her caretaker since she was 2 months old. Jennifer stated that the behavior began after the girl allegedly made threats toward the family approximately 3 years ago. However, Jennifer and Joel did not seek consistent or adequate medical or psychological intervention at that time. Jennifer reported that in December 2025, she attempted to have the girl Baker acted at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, but the request was denied and the girl was returned home after an evaluation was completed at the hospital. Despite this, the confinement and unsanitary conditions continued through February 11, 2026, until she was removed by DCF. Since the girl has been removed from the residence, she has complained of pre-existing medical concerns that had been left untreated. Joel was also interviewed and confirmed the same conditions and disciplinary practices as described above. During the interview, Joel acknowledged that there was safety concerns associated with the victim's bedroom door and window being secured in a manner that restricted her ability to exit. This practice is particularly concerning given Joel's professional background, where he would reasonably be expected to recognize the inherent safety risks associated with restricting a child's ability to exit a room during an emergency, with him being a firefighter. Based on the totality of the investigation, including victim statements, corroborating witness accounts, physical observations, and admissions by both Joel and Jennifer, it was determined that the girl was subjected to prolonged and excessive punishment and confinement. The actions taken by Joel were not reasonable discipline, but rather constituted cruel and excessive treatment, resulting in emotional and psychological harm to the victim. Therefore, the defendant did unlawfully violate Florida statute, which is child abuse by knowingly and willfully committing acts that could reasonably be expected to result in mental, physical injury to a child. The defendant, so both Joel and Jennifer, was taken into custody without incident by CSPD and later transported to BSO for detention. I really just don't even understand why they adopted a child and treat her that way. And they had her since she was 2 months old. 2 months old, her whole entire life. These are the only parents that she has known. And they have all these other children who are treated completely different. Horrible. And Jennifer's like, I'll just give her back to the state of Florida. Take her back. She doesn't thrive with me. Joel, the father, He has worked for the Broward County Sheriff Fire Rescue since November 15th, 2010, and he is currently on administrative investigative leave without pay. That makes me happy because often you see with pay. Now he's without pay, so that's good. A neighbor told media that they believe the allegations are a lie and described the couple as, quote, awesome parents whose kids are doing so well. Now, again, they were seen in court this week, and as I slightly mentioned, the attorney said the following, quote, they are devout Christians, they are devoutly religious. Their beliefs on various topics may not chime with people in this courtroom, or maybe they do. Now, the judge responded with saying the following, I don't get into the religious stuff. I stay away from that. I just have to apply the law. But when you've allegedly got a 12-year-old child who is locked in a room for upwards of 3 years and is forced to urinate and defecate in the room and then clean it up with her clothes, that is not a religious issue. That's something else. The lawyer responded by saying that's also not true, and these folks are innocent until proven guilty. That fact is not true. The judge, heartily understood and said, true, I do understand. She's innocent until proven guilty, but the allegations here are difficult. The couple's bonds were both set at $100,000 with no victim contact or access to firearms.
That is not a religious issue. That's something else.
And here's a little bit from local media that was able to talk to some neighbors in the area.
I feel like she's giving a bad name to Christians, but even the Bible warns us that Satan himself disguises himself as an angel of light.
The girl's schoolmates tell us they noticed.
I've seen that she's very skinny and she has a lot of bruises.
Now, I do have to say that all parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. If you do suspect child abuse, you can call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-422-4453 or visit childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential, and the hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure that you are following me for more updates on this case and many others that I do cover. Please tap that heart. It is greatly appreciated. Remember to be kind to one another, stay safe, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.